Hello world, what we're going to do now is create our very first web page. If you got my reference, the Hello World reference, that is a pretty common thing for web developers and software developers to do. It's their kind of the first program you create, whether you're doing it in C++ or HTML, JavaScript, anything like that. It's kind of just a test to see if your work is being rendered properly in the, well, in our case, browser. So we want to create our very first web page, and it's actually quite easy, and it's kind of the first step to get you in the door. So the first thing that we need to do is open up our code editor. So in the last lecture, we talked about code editors, and I gave you a few options, and half of them were actually free. And I'm going to be using Adobe Brackets, which is free, and I'm excited to try it out because I've never actually used it before. As you know, I'm a pretty strong supporter of Coda 2, but I am going to shake it up a bit and try some Adobe Brackets. So if you're using Adobe Brackets, then it'd be easy for you to follow along. Coda 2 is fairly similar. If you're using something like Notepad++ or Text Wrangler or even Sublime Text, then the process will be slightly different in terms of opening and creating files, but coding and everything like that will be exactly the same, totally identical. So you shouldn't have a problem there. So I have Adobe Brackets open. The first thing that I wanted to do was create a folder on my desktop. So up here in the top left, HTML_intro is a folder that I actually created on the desktop. So to make it easier, I'm just going to go to my desktop here, and I'm just going to delete that folder and create a new folder. Let's call it HTML_intro. So that's on the desktop. If I go back to my Adobe Brackets, then I'll be able to, I'm going to click here and say open folder, and that will give me an option to find a folder, and I'm already in HTML intro, but here it is right here. Open, there we go. So this is the folder contents. It's empty currently. If you're using Coda, it'd be very similar. You'll just go File, Open, or Open Folder, and you could find your folder. The same goes for Text Wrangler, except for you can't open folders in Text Wrangler, you just open files. Well, don't worry about opening the folder in Text Wrangler. Really all you need to worry about if you're in Text Wrangler is creating the file within this folder, which is kind of the benefit of using Brackets and Coda. You can use it as a finder right here and actually create files. So that's what we're going to do. Right click, new file, create our new file. You should know it as index.html. And you can do the same by going File, New, and you could save a file. And Text Wrangler should be the same. File, New, create index.html. Here we are in our index.html. The first thing that we want to do is create the basic structure of the HTML page. Now, because we're going to jump into some HTML in the next section, we're just going to straight up just write text. We're not even going to do any structure at all. So all you really want to do right here is just type in hello world, ! Save that. Now you have text in your index.html file. So what you can do now is go to your desktop, open up that folder, and then you can go ahead and double click that index file. And that should open up your hello world web page. So there it is, your very first web page. It's kind of underwhelming, but that's okay because we're going to be getting into some really cool stuff as we go through the next lectures. So that is all for our first web page. It's very simple. And in the next section, we're going to actually jump into some real HTML and dive into how to structure a web page and get coding. See you there.